Hey everybody, Mark Johnson here, founder and creative director of Able Abe Studios, back again with another episode of It's Go Time, episode number 27. In today's episode, I'm giving you the in on my strategy on how to write every single day. In today's episode, like I said, I'm sharing with you my top 5 ways or my strategy on how I plan to write every single day. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you saw that in July I tried or I attempted to write every single day, pushing myself to do more than I had been doing. And it didn't work out too well. The first week was a total disaster. I didn't get really any writing done. I got less than, I usually did, and I think it was partly because it was the 4th of July. That whole kind of week just kind of was a blur and just kind of went by. But the rest of the month of July was a little bit of struggle. I did better. By the end of the month, I was still, still not getting every single day. And so as we came into August, I kind of devised my own little strategy from what I had learned in July on how I could make myself write every single day. It's just me, learning from, failure, learning from not being able to make it, learning from experience on how to make something, in a sense, a habit, something that, I wasn't doing regularly, but I want to do it more regularly now. My first step in my strategy on how to write every single day is just to keep it fun and keep it fresh. I would have to say that I'm not one type of person to feel like I have writer's block. I'm not bragging or anything like that, but I never felt like I never had anything to write about. And so that's what keeping it fun and keeping it fresh is about, is just writing what I feel like writing and not necessarily having an agenda beforehand. I know in other projects I've done that where basically I was writing a chapter a day to complete a book. But in this sense, I'm just writing interesting content, interesting stories that I feel that someone reading it or someone viewing it, again, I don't understand what the end project's going to be, but I just want to be able to write every single day. So keeping it fun and keeping it fresh is my number one step in my strategy on how to write every single day. My second step in my strategy on how to keep writing every single day is to review and to rewrite. So in my process, just so you got a little idea of how my process works, I write in a notebook. Whatever my story is, when it first comes to me, it ends up in a notebook. So I'll write pages in a notebook on my notebook. From there, I usually take that notebook, how many pages ever it is, and I'll type it out. I do that so that other people can read it freely without trying to have to decipher what my handwriting is looking like. Because a lot of times I'll do shorthand just to kind of get through and, not necessarily, or even scribble the word out, knowing that when I come back to it, I know my writing, I know what that's going to say. But even though I do that, there's sometimes where there are words that get by but I don't remember. But once I kind of read the whole thing back, I can see what that word was and I can figure it out. So that's kind of my process. So when I talk about rewrite and review, I think that's what I said, but I want to be able to review and rewrite. So when I talk about rewrite, that's what I'm talking about, where I'm taking it from the notebook to typing it out. When I talk about review, that means it's already typed out, printed, so I can kind of like take notes and do some editing on it, or have someone read it and do editing on it before I will go again and review it. So I want to be able to do that each day as well. As much as I'm writing a new piece, I want to be able to review an old piece and rewrite a piece that has just been written. My third step in my strategy to write every single day is to get readers. When I started out this whole process early on, I would say maybe March, where I know last year I wrote a novella which is about 20,000 words, but I think after that I didn't really do much other writing until maybe end of last year to the start of this year. So it was more or less, a gradual thing. And so in the process, early on, I didn't have any readers. I had maybe one person. And then I got an editor, and so she was reading a lot of my stuff regularly. So getting other readers is a charm, because then you can get that feedback and let you know if what you're writing is interesting to anybody at all, right? So I do have one other reader, and she's read 2 of my pieces, which was a 2-part. It's going to be a 3-part piece, but she said it's pretty interesting. She gave me some ideas. She gave me some things I might want to change or tweak a little bit in the story to kind of make it a little more coherent, a little more interesting, a little more grabby. And so that was good. So getting readers is a good thing. Whether or not it's just for editing, that's one thing. But getting it to let you know if the story is interesting. My 4th way in my process to write every single day is to push the project to the finish. I know a lot, as being an artist, I know about this because there have been times where I've been working on art pieces that were coming near the end. There wasn't much more to do, but for whatever reason I would get bored. I would get disinterested in what I was doing, and it was nearly done. It didn't make sense, and so I always figured, I always questioned what was that about, and I realized that for whatever reason, as an artist, as a creative, maybe even in other industries, when people get to the end of things, they seem to want to kind of hang on to it. They don't necessarily want to let it go at that point, or even get frustrated by having it end. And I realized that's what it was. It was me not wanting to finish the project. The process is the joy part. Of it. I guess also could be the joy part of it by having people say it looks great and that kind of thing. But as an artist, you're just really most times doing the work, or even as a writer, most times just doing the work for you until it can actually get to that point where other people can see it. And so I want to be able to push my projects all the way to the finish and not hold on to them and, oh, no one's read this one, or one person's read it and they gave me feedback. I don't want that. I want to be able to have projects go from one step to the next step to the next step and done. And final step in my strategy on how to write every single day is to promote and share. So I got to the point where I got me a finished project. It's hot off the press. It's just ready to rock and roll. So what am I going to do with it? I'm not going to let it sit on my shelf. I'm not doing that. Okay, I'm not going to do that. I want to be able to promote it, and I want to be able to share it. So for those who've seen some of my sketchbook drawings on my blog, that's an example. I do a sketchbook drawing. I've been doing it for a couple weeks now, and I've been sharing it on my blog. If you're not following me on any of those other links, you got to. So look for those in the description box below. I have all those links listed where you can find me either on Twitter, on Facebook, on I have a blog spot. I have a store as well. You can find me on those, and you can see some of the other pieces that I am sharing, promoting, and sharing. So what I have in store for some of these writings is to share on my YouTube channel. I'll probably start doing that in September as these projects come to fruition and they get finished and they're ready to go. So watch for that in September. I'll probably do one a week. If I can do more, great, fantastic, excellent, awesome, amazing. So those are my top 5 ways in my strategy to write every single day. This is 100% me building this strategy to keep myself motivated and keep myself focused in the month of August to continue writing. Hopefully it can be something that you can use in your own life. Maybe it can be an example of what it takes to kind of be someone that's getting things done, because I want to be that type of person. So hopefully this plan works for me, this strategy works for me. I'll definitely have to do an update video so that people can see where I started and where I've been. Maybe put a link between the two so you can check those out. But yeah, hope, again, like I said, hopefully this video can be helpful to you in some way. Maybe just being strategic. Another way you can look at it, no matter what it may be, is what Gary Vaynerchuk always says, that you want to reverse engineer whatever the process is that you're trying to create. So if you're trying to create a book, reverse engineer where would that, you got the end product, the book, where do you think it goes after that? Or what was the step before that, and what was the step before that, and just get all the way back to the beginning. And that's kind of what I did here, in the sense that I took my past experience as an artist and writing other pieces to kind of figure out what would be the things that I need to do every single day to keep my process going. There was an interview, I forgot what author it was, I want to say John Grisham, I think he was on 60 Minutes, and he was talking about his process, and he had a lot of projects going on at the same time. He had multiple readers. He had even other authors that were helping him and working with him on the stories. So that's kind of where I got this idea from, in the sense. It's really, really lightly because it's just me and my editor and one other person. So two other people are working with me on this project, or these projects, to, you know, as readers. So, you know, it's just kind of a process. You know, maybe at some point I'll have as many people as he had working on his staff. But at this point, this is where I'm at. So I'm excited for the process. I'm excited to see where this goes from here. Definitely, if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing with the channel, definitely subscribe. And if you want to share with me maybe some of the things that you're working on and you're kind of struggling with, and you're developing your own strategy on how to do it every single day, every other day, whatever it may be, from, you know, from weight loss to eating right to, you know, making sure you're reading every single day, whatever it is, leave that in the description or in the comment box below so we can start a conversation and kind of talk back and forth on this topic. So, other than that, like we always do at this time, have a blessed day. See you on the flip side. Let's go.